seine Idee zeigen. Luca,
ich kann von mir aus anfangen.
Mhm.
Einen Moment. So, seht ihr meinen Bildschirm?
Ja.
Ich habe so eine kleine Präsentation gemacht, auf Englisch. Also, ich kann euch jetzt was über Atom und Clojure erzählen, meine Erfahrungen, wie ich damit jetzt gearbeitet habe die letzten paar Monate. Erstmal ganz kurz was zu dem Setup, was Atom überhaupt ist. Also Atom ist halt ein hackable General-Purpose-Text-Editor. Das Coole daran ist halt, dass man den halt erweitern kann mit ganz vielen Packages und dass er halt sehr, sehr veränderbar ist. Und in seiner Standardversion halt auch sehr, sehr minimal, was ja bei Eclipse zum Beispiel nicht der Fall ist.
Mhm.
Dann die generellen Packages, die ich da so verwende. Es ist nicht so wichtig, was die jetzt im Detail machen. Eigentlich ist es nur wichtig, dass es Atom Beautify gibt, also auch so dass es macht Formatierung, wie in Eclipse auch. Es gibt ja diese Standardformatierung, das ist nicht Standardformatierung. Die Codeformatierung, dass es alles schön eindrückt und sowas. Das gibt es in Atom auch. Dann haben wir auch schon Atom Pair ausprobiert, wo man eben quasi Pair-Programming direkt im Editor machen kann. Und es gibt natürlich eine REPL, weil ohne REPL könnten wir ja nicht mit Clojure arbeiten. Die anderen Packages sind jetzt nicht so wichtig, die machen halt solche Sachen wie Klammern setzen. Gut. Meine Erfahrung generell mit Eclipse war, dass die REPL halt ziemlich... Ihr seht mein Bildschirm noch, oder?
Ja. Ja.
Gut, weil die Präsentation ist voll gut.
Ali fragt
eine
Englisch.
Generelle Englisch? Ali? I don't hear you.
Do you have my voice?
So,
yeah, if it is popular, all agree. Please do it in English. Thank you so much.
I can switch to English, no problem. So my overall experience with Eclipse was that the REPL was like the bottleneck of coding, because it started pretty slow. So and my experience with the proto-REPL, that's the REPL in Atom, is that it starts moderately fast. So I think, so from my feeling, I didn't calculate this, but from my feeling, it's faster than the REPL in Eclipse. And another cool feature that this REPL has is the reload feature. So the negative thing about this is that it has to be added to the dependencies, but the cool thing is that if you change something in the code, then the REPL can reload the code without restarting the complete REPL. I will show that in a few seconds. So, but the next point about my main experience is that shortcuts don't seem to really work with the proto-REPL. At least I couldn't make them work. So, but as I don't use shortcuts really, my overall experience was quite good. So I think it's pretty good, but not perfect. So now I will do a quick demonstration of the REPL. So here we have our DDI managed IDE with the Clojure file. So first I will just start the REPL. I can start it by starting the REPL. There should be a shortcut to start being able to make it work. So anyways, I will just start it over the right click. Then we have to wait a few seconds for the REPL to start. Also, we see now the reloading feature. So it already checked all the files in the project. So, and if there are any compiling errors, it already would show this here. So, a negative thing is that I don't know. I couldn't figure out how to auto start the namespace. So Now we want to switch to the namespace that is here in this file, and I have not found any way to auto start it. So if I start the REPL, I have to start the namespace separately. But I can just make right click and click on execute block. Then it will automatically execute this block and switch to this namespace.
Okay.
Because every question?
That's a good idea. So I always type the in minus namespace in ns, and then I put in the namespace name. So I've
so that's what I did. Yeah, that's what I did first too. And actually, it's not so bad because now we can now the autocomplete works. I think it didn't work in my Atom before, but once I added the proto-REPL to the dependencies, this started to work. So even if you have to type the namespace manually, it's not so bad because you can just do this and then start it. But it's more comfortable to make it with the right click. So now we have now we're in this namespace, and we can do whatever we want, like normally. In this case, it doesn't make sense. But so we can execute the functions and access everything.
Okay.
Another thing about the reload feature, I can show you this now in action. Like if I wanted to change something here in the code, and in Eclipse I would have, I mean, maybe that's my fault for not knowing how to do it, but in Eclipse I would have like changed something and then completely restarted the REPL. Maybe there's a better way, but anyways, in the Atom I can just like change it and then save it, and then it reloaded automatically the file and the refresh, and now I can access this new one, this new code.
So in Eclipse this works also, but if you change a def, for example, then def is something, it seems to be quite same as static in Java. So Eclipse does not manage to reload defs, which has been already defined.
Maybe we can try it. New thing. Show.
Then B.
One.
Okay. Yeah, that looks good.
That is really nice. Because otherwise I would have to restart the REPL. So yeah. So okay. So and if I do something that is like that would produce a compile error, then this also is shown by the restart, by the reload automatically. So here we have the stack for what is wrong. See where it is and fix it. And he shows that refresh was successful, so no compile errors.
Okay. Cool.
Maybe another cool thing is if I was to, I can go into the code here and select some block of code and directly send it to the REPL. So I can just make right click and then execute block, and then it sends it to the REPL. And so it has a visual element, this proto-REPL, which I just found out that the creator of the proto-REPL actually intended to be like that's the main feature, that it has this visual element. In that case, not, because it's like just a list of things, so it's not nicely formatted. But If this was like an array also, you could access the array points here, like the array fields.
Mm.
And in this case, it's just this list, but it shows the result of your code directly in the editor, not only in the rep.
Okay.
It also works with Git. So to have Git, we have to install another package that's called Git control, and we can.
Oh, you use Git control? Okay.
Yeah. Wait. Repository has been destroyed. Good. Okay. Okay, I don't know what this is now.
Okay.
So there's some errors in Atom that show up but like the cool thing is like, and it's not perfect, but I mean people are working on it. It's not just some open source editor, but there's like the GitHub company is working on this editor.
Mm.
And as you can see that, like where you can see if your error has already been worked on, then you can view the issue directly and look at it. In this case, I'm not sure what is wrong. Maybe I will just get another.
Okay.
Another crate to look at with the Git control. Okay. Oh, now it works. Anyways, so here's the Git control. It's like all the usual things that you use, like having pulling and pushing.
Can you view branches and commits in a visual history? No.
I didn't try that yet, so I'm not sure. I don't think so. Maybe compare.
Okay.
No, compares. Normal comparison. So also the Git is not it has another problem, because if I want to upload something, for example, to our Meister Gitlet, usually then of course I have to type in my password, or if I'm not if I don't have the SSH key. The problem is that Git control doesn't support a terminal. So I cannot just type in my password here. So if I have something with a password, I have to go to the folder and do it manually with the terminal.
Okay.
So that's unfortunate, but of course we can have something like a Git credential management. There's extra software for that saves the credential for you, and Git control works with such software.
Okay, and for Git control, do you need some extra install packages, or so I got never Git control up and running on my system?
Actually, I'm not sure, but I can check, because we can go to the options and look at the packages. And yeah, Git control is a separate package.
But did you did you have installed some operating system packages in addition?
You mean like on which it is based, or something?
Yeah. So some command line commands and things like this. The Git flow packages. Do you have installed something like this?
I'm not sure. I don't think so. We can just check, because like that's the packages that I installed. No. Maybe you need to install Ink for it. That's the toolkit for having.
But that's a package based on Atom. But I'm talking about operating system package. So, did you apt-get install some Git flow package on operation system on your Ubuntu?
I don't remember. Maybe I can check. I should be able to search. I'm not sure how it's the comment to search.
So just compare it to my. So I have the same commands available for me. Okay. Cool.
So let me check if I forgot something. Yeah, so atom pair and so atom beautify works as you would expect. You can have atom beautify here, and then you use it, and then beautification in progress, and then it changes the so that it's what's called in English intended or something like that the spaces are correct.
Intention, I think. Okay. So beautify works well with this par-infer thing. So I found always the par-infer if I did wrong identification, the wrong numbers of spaces in front of one line, then the closing parents are just moving around. And did beautify work well with this par-infer?
The moving pair. Do you mean like when I'm making this?
No, just maybe make making def and give it a name and put in some map, for example. Not a not just use this map brackets, not the map function.
In this one?
So it's schweif die Klammer.
Oh.
So now you can enter a keyword and now put in a line break and press delete.
Press delete.
Okay, so maybe I should show it by my own.
Okay, so maybe I will just finish and then you can show it.
Yeah. Okay.
So yeah, and atom pair is as I think you maybe the other ones already saw it. So you can just start a new pairing session here, and if I send someone this ID, he can join and see this code. So like directly from his editor. So that is quite nice. Even though I'm a little bit worried about security reasons, like I mean, of course, like it's some code and it doesn't make sense without context. But anyways, I couldn't find any resources on how secure this is because I don't think it's I don't think it's very secure. But anyways, the atom pair package is a very nice example of how packages can be used to expand the functionality of Atom. So Atom pair was also programmed by another company. So, yes. Yeah, so pros and cons, my summary. I think that it looks quite nice. And the REPL is, from my feeling, faster. It's quite simple when you don't install any packages, but you can install packages, and Atom pair is pretty cool. But you have to try out packages to find functionality that you would usually, like in Eclipse, already expect to be there. Also, I did not find a way to auto-start the namespace. A fast way, like that's pretty fast, but it's not ultra fast. So also the Git credentials have to be managed externally, as I told you, or have to be entered through a terminal. And another thing that's annoying is the key bindings. They often overlap between different packages, and I couldn't make most of them work. But As I don't use them, I don't really care, but some people might. This might be important for some people. So that's the links that I used. And that's all from my side.
I have a question about the REPL. When you stopped working on that, does the REPL or the JVM stop? So the process, or is it still running?
No, it's still running.
Okay, so you have to stop it by yourself.
Yes.
Okay.
I would have a question as well. So, for example, in Emacs, I know you can pretty much add features by writing your own code in the init.el, for example. And I think in Atom, it's all based on CoffeeScript. Is there a way where
you can write your own code?
In Emacs, there's a possibility, and so it's pretty simple to have like shortcuts and do something whatever you want. So there was a guy who wrote like a Spotify client for Emacs in 50 minutes or something like this. If you really need that, I think is questionable. But is there a way where in Atom, I think Atom is based on CoffeeScript. Is there a way where you have like a file where you can define your own functions or something like that for Atom?
Actually, I didn't try that yet, so I don't know.
So, for example, I think in Eclipse it's not easy possible, so you always have to write a plugin.
But yeah, I think you might also have. I'm not sure. But everything is hackable, so you can like see the configure files, and there's. I didn't try to write anything in that, so I don't know. But it should be possible to write a lot of things in the config files.
So you mean we should do an hacking day and writing a Atom plugin next time?
Question would be what kind of Atom plugin in this case?
Atom plugin doing all the stuff we need. Okay. Okay. So I just also use the Atom quite this higher intents. And I have some questions. Maybe someone of you has already a solution to them. So if there are no other questions, I can ask them. So Clemens, Jan, Ali, do you have more questions?
No.
Just I have a question. How was the compare between, for example, IntelliJ IDE with, and Atom? Because as you know, for example, it's possible to add a plugin for Clojure in IntelliJ IDE. Have you tried it before? And have you, for example, compared for I don't know, a speed of REPL in IntelliJ or Atom?
I didn't really get your question. What is your question? I mean, is it possible
compare between? Just my question is that did you try before IntelliJ IDE and adding a plugin of Clojure to IntelliJ? I just want to know about the compare between Atom, for example, Emacs, and a plugin of Clojure in IntelliJ.
Not sure if that's that's this question is the point of this whole workshop, I think, because
I think the problem here is that the IntelliJ plugin is free to try out, but once we would use it as a company, I think you pay like $200 or $300 per person per year. And for IDE to make me $200 or $300 more productive, I think that's almost impossible. So I think that we have a little bit disadvantage when we would use this plugin because it's expensive.
So Luca and I, we used already IntelliJ on another project, and so for me personally, I've always some difficulties in using IntelliJ's Git integration. So I think if the Git integration is not really working good. So I see no reason for trying out IntelliJ. So that was the reason why I've not chosen to test IntelliJ. You're talking about a cursive ID,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, exactly.
I think also a problem might be that I think a main feature of IntelliJ is their intelligent auto-completion and their linting tools, what they use for Java, which are really good in Java, but I think that because in Clojure their linting tools are really lacking, I think IntelliJ wouldn't have so much advantages over text editor in this case.
Yeah, I agree. Okay. So are there more questions? So I try to...
Oh, I have actually one more. So when I used Atom, I think it was maybe for LaTeX or something, it was feeling quite slow. I don't know if that was my installation, that there was something broken from a package or so. But as soon, for example, as I used 5-line multi-line cursors, it started really lagging heavily and all that, and it wasn't really responsive. Did you have any issues with that?
I didn't have any lagging issues, no.
Okay.
So I had really, really intensive lagging issues. And I found out that if I use Chrome and Atom in combination, then Atom is going really, really slow.
Oh, I have an idea why that is. Because Atom is built upon Chromium and Node.js, so maybe they are using like same path to some stuff, some resource path or something.
Assume that's true. So if I use Firefox for browsing and then I can use Atom most time without lags. Sometimes it's lagging, but maybe it's also because I use it in many projects in parallel. So I can show you my screen. Or maybe I can show you my Atom. So can you see my Atom setup? So you see I'm working in parallel with about 10 projects, and working in parallel with many projects is, in my experience, always quite hard. So my question to you, Luca, is I use for Git this automate Git. I like this quite. So I can show you my Git crate, for example. So I've created all these things, so I can show you something else. So the sort is great. So you see yellow is are modified files and green are added files. And if I use automate Git, so that's a hotkey which is working for me. So I can see here the untracked files, unstaged files, the staged files, and I have a nice interaction with hotkeys for pushing and pulling. But this always works just for the topmost project. Yeah. So if I want to commit things in the server test crate, for example, so I have to just move the server test crate project to the top. Then I have to close Atom and reopen it, and then it will be able to be handled by automate Git. So is this true for Git control also, or do you have some
in
issues
Git control
with?
you can change. It's like in Git control there's always one project that is current, and you can change that. So it's always like you can change it manually.
Okay.
So it doesn't automatically change. It is always the same project until you change it.
Okay. Okay, great. So next question.
Yeah, sorry, I have one more question.
Yeah.
How is it with showing the documentation of functions in Atom? So if you hover over a function, will it show the cider doc or the Clojure doc or something like this?
Maybe that's something you can show, Luca?
I am not sure. I don't know. Because I never use it. But I think there should be something like this.
So I've seen this already, but I'm not really sure when it's working and when not. So if you're not able to show it, maybe I can give it a try. So yeah, that's par-infer. So I hope par-infer is not destroying my brackets. And I can close this. So I can load this file in ProtoRapper. So I start ProtoRapper from project CLJ, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's the way you are doing.
Well,
So I do
it didn't make any difference which one. Like, there's 2 starting options, and there's no difference for me.
And this namespace is getting loaded automatically, or what do
you
you
have
do?
to right-click and then execute block once the REPL is started.
Okay. But the namespace is not loaded, so the project is not loaded at all.
No, the REPL is not loaded.
The wrapper?
The REPL is
So I
not
have to-
loaded.
So I have to start a REPL first?
Now the REPL
no,
is loaded.
not a REPL is loaded, okay. So I can now execute a block,
Yes.
and then I can... Okay, yeah, thank you. Par-infer has changed some parentheses, I think. So I can now try to get in. So I've seen that if I try to say get in, then I get some documentation. So that was the question, Jan, right?
So where is the doc? Does it work right? Doesn't work right now, or where's it? Ah, okay, gotcha.
So now I found it. I can type something in here. And if I type characters, then I get this triggers the documentation. But you see, it's not shown all the documentation, and there's some kind of buggy. But yeah, that's the way it is.
I have one more question. I see that I think a lot of packages are named the same in Emacs, so I think par-infer and all these are also available in Emacs.
Do you know how exactly Atom handles this? Does it use Cider as a backend, or how does it connect with the Clojure REPL and all that?
It's using the proto-REPL. So proto-REPL is something different to Cider. So I did just some experiments with Cider. To use Cider in Eclipse. In the old version of Eclipse is not be able to use Cider, and I think the new version of counterclockwise would be able to use Cider. So I just tried out to use Cider also in ProtoRapper or in this ProtoRapper plugin, but I'm not sure whether it's working and how it's working. So next question is about beautifying and about writing parentheses. So if I just would have a def and I want to give this def a name and I want to define a map, so I can give a keyword and maybe a number, and I can I can add more key value pairs to this map. But if I press now return, so you see I'm behind this one, and now I press return, so I get not the parentheses to the new line. But if I now enter another key, the B, for example, so I get the parentheses from this, the closing parentheses from this def. So now I have to format the code, and now I get a closing parenthesis from this map. So did you find the same behavior on the side, Luca?
Wait, I'm thinking. I have the feeling that I'm not using parent-var. Yeah, I'm not using parent-var.
Okay, so that's the behavior of parent-var. And for me, beautifying does not work. So I've not a package beautifier. I think I have tried it out, but there was some reason why it's not working. So you're not using parent-var? Okay. So maybe I can throw it out and use beautify. Try out beautify instead of. Because if the indentation was done another way, then parent-var will change the parentheses, and to find these bugs is quite heavy. And if someone else has edited the file and changed the identity, then it would be a change the functionality at this point. So that's something I found always difficult on this. So I do not save this file. Okay.
And regarding auto format, is it possible to, for example, define a shortcut to auto format, or for example, is it possible to define a same template for formatting of the code? I mean, for example, whenever you're working in a team group, maybe someone, for example, I don't know, click double space for a variable, and someone else, whenever wants to commit the code, see some maybe conflicts because just spaces. And in this situation, for example, in Eclipse, it's possible to just press Ctrl F to auto format and then commit the code, or maybe fetch the code.
Luca, do you know the answer? Because for me, beautifying is not working.
I think I didn't really understand the question. Can you repeat, please?
You know, for example, in Eclipse, it's possible to define a template for formatting the code. There are some same format.
You mean like that you want to decide yourself how it's beautified?
Yeah. And it measures, for example, the spaces. It can, for example, define the, I don't know, length of the line and something else.
I think you can define this. Wait, I would check. So
Do you know why I asked this question? Because, for example, there are two developers of, I don't know, a project. So whenever one of them, for example, commit the code, and someone else just, you know, make something bigger, or, for example, just by clicking some spaces, some conflicts would be happen. So in this situation, just by defining a template of auto format, we can, you know, throw it away.
So how this beautify works is with so-called beautifiers. So it has. I'm not sure. I think you should be able to install more beautifiers. So beautifiers is basically what we're talking about. That's how to you can like if you look at so you can make your own configuration file.
Mhm.
But if you're using Atom Beautify, then and you're using like it has beautifiers, which are basically configurations that are specified for different programming languages. Because it can, I mean, it's a general purpose editor, so it can work with all kinds of programming languages and like really a lot. So it also has Atom Beautify works with all of them, mostly all of them. And for every single language, they have a beautifier, which defines something as I posted there. And you can hack it yourself and make yourself a configuration if you want. Obviously, if you want to change one.
Yeah, there's also Atom Umlautify. Okay. So how this beautifier is called?
The Clojure beautifier.
Hmm.
I mean, it's automatically included in an Atom beautifier. Clojure is that's a name. Clojure. It's a node. Oh yeah, so beautifiers are node script that reformat a file to proper Clojure formatting. Okay. Yeah, so beautifiers seem to be node scripts, Node.js script that format a file.
Okay, Atom Beautify is installed for me. So I should have a package. So I can't see the package in here. Okay. Okay. So maybe I have to debug this at a later point in time. Okay. Are there more questions about Atom?
Yes. Are there actually any refactoring tools in Atom for Clojure? So, like, for example, simple things like adding a dependency or something where you can just search the dependency and edit, or renaming functions or anything like this?
What do you mean? Like search and find or something?
More like replacing. So, for example, when you change a namespace, that you could.
Yeah, I mean you can find, and then you can replace. Wait, I can show you my screen.
So, but this is more like a text search and replace, not actually like a refactoring tool, right?
No, that's more like a text search, I think.
Okay.
You can see it.
Yeah, okay.
Like I can just I did it a lot of times when I change something. I can like find it. Then you search.
Okay.
But I'm not sure what you actually mean with.
So I thought more of refactoring tools. If you think of Java, where you could change fields or anything, and it would show you actually where all the fields would be changed or something like this. Just anything that would get in that way, rather than just replacing text with another text, because I think this can break sometimes too.
Yeah, of course it can break. Because like this is palette, but this is palette schema.
Okay. More questions? if not, maybe Jan, you can give it a try.
Okay, so I'll try to share my screen and hope that I won't lag. Is everything still okay so far?
Regarding lagging?
And what?
Yeah, partially you're lagging, but
Okay.
if it's going to be too bad, then I will maybe bring some Eclipse.
Okay. So we'll just hope that it will work a little bit. So I would like to present Emacs as a Clojure development environment a bit. And first, maybe I wanted to talk a bit about the motivation for actually trying Emacs. So the reason is that the Emacs, the Eclipse plugin for Clojure, actually had quite a lot of issues for me on the newer Eclipse Neon versions for me. So like basic things like autocompletion weren't really working at all. And when I looked at the GitHub page for the counterclockwise plugin, there was not really any further development. It was just bumping dependencies up. So I thought that they're probably not going to address the issues, and there are still over, I think, 150 open issues, and there's really not anything happening. So I feel like that the plugin is at a state where it's not really going to advance. And I wasn't really happy how it works in especially newer Neon versions. And in the older versions, Eclipse seemed to be a little bit slow, and the STS Eclipse also broke quite a lot of times for me. So it wasn't really optimal. And on the search, I found that a lot of Clojure developers already are using Emacs, and you find quite a lot of resources online how to set up a Clojure development environment. So I thought this would be a good idea to go and try out Emacs. And Emacs, in a nutshell, we could say that Emacs is highly configurable text editor, just like Atom. And I think mainly this is done with the init EL file. So Emacs uses the Emacs Lisp for configuration and extending Emacs, and we'll take a look at this in a second. And there are also tons of packages for Emacs which you can just install. And therefore, there's also the support for almost every language. And I think a major strength here is that it's also for niche programming language which are not really that broadly used, like Clojure, or maybe even Scala isn't adopted that much, or any language that just doesn't have many followers. So I would like to take a look at the init EL. And if anyone has set up Emacs with which instructions, you are free to just follow along and experiment a bit. So this is the init EL I presented to you all. And there we can see this is actually what I was asking. Look, if there's like a file where you can easily extend features. So for example, I copied this from Stack Overflow, which just checks on startup of Emacs if all of these packages I defined here are installed. So every time I add a package, I can add it here, and that way I can always take this init EL around, and I'll always have the same Emacs installation.
So yeah, maybe you can talk quite slow because you're occurring right interrupted to my ear.
Oh, okay. Okay, so I'll try to talk a little bit slower. So yeah, these are all the packages which will be checked if they're installed on the Emacs startup. And then we just can set a few modes which are active globally, like the company mode, which is used for auto completing, and the toolbar mode or anything we can specify here, so that, for example, the toolbar will not be shown because I don't really need it, and you have an indication on where you're at here anyway, so you save some screen real estate for the code.
So sorry to break once again. So how is Jan coming up to you guys? So Clemens, Ali,
I
Luca?
can understand him, but it's not very good quality.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, the quality of voice, I don't know why it breaks suddenly.
So should we switch to Street?
Yeah, let's get Street and try.
The things of but so just let's do Eclipse in before, and then if I finish the Eclipse, then we can choose Street. Is this okay to you, Jan? Because I find the Emacs part quite interesting, and I want to hear what you have to say.
Okay, sure. Let's try it.
Okay. So I think Eclipse, all of you is already knowing about. So I keep it quite short. So you know the STS setup. So I have STS and added counterclockwise, and in another VM using Ubuntu 60.04, I already used the new version of counterclockwise. So there's thing of already pre-packed Eclipse has installed this counterclockwise and dependencies. And so for me, it was only working with the newest Ubuntu and with Ubuntu 14.04, which I have here. Counterclockwise is not really working. So I'm not sure what should I tell about Eclipse. So I've written down some points if there would be someone is not knowing Eclipse already. So as Jan said, I found on the GitHub project the last US commit at the end of 2015. So I think this counterclockwise thing is not under active development. So I liked some point in code editing. So if I edit here something, then I can make some wild formatting, and then I have to press a tab, and the line gets formatted by counterclockwise. That's something I like. I like also the rainbow-colored brackets, so it's visible that the last bracket in a definition should be a red one. But I think that's provided by other editors also. So the points are not working very well as the integration into the line setup. So I've at the moment heavy issues keeping my reference up to date. So if I can give you an example, if I changed this day, for example, the DA palette version I want to use, because I did some refactoring in DA palette and changed one thing, for using it in this grade. And if I changed it, Eclipse did not update the reference libraries. You can see the reference libraries, so it's the libraries used if I start up a repo, and you can see all the versions in here, but it's not sorted. So I have to read through all these jar files which are being referenced, and then I found out that the DDA palette jar file was being used in here. I had referenced the old version. So that's for sure an issue. Second issue is if I have this project file and class path file. So Eclipse project needs these two files, and typically we will not check in these files because we want not to bind our projects to the usage of counterclockwise IDE. So the typical way is I call line IDE file generator and type in IDE files for Eclipse. These IDE files are not being able to be parsed from this counterclockwise plugin at some point in time. So that's true for this project, and so for this project, the integration of lining is broken. So as Suka already told, startup time is quite ugly. What I like on counterclockwise is this presentation of exceptions. So if I had some executed code in the REPL, then I can see the latest exception if I press on this button. So I can get a detailed idea of the exception. So that's something I like. Yeah. So these are one of the few advantages. Last but not least, it's quite easy to start up the REPL with the current file loaded. So as Luca already said, Alt S like space, and then this file is getting compiled into REPL, and if I do some changes in this file, I can press Control Alt S again, and then it's compiled again and reloaded again. So this reload function is also present for Eclipse. So that's something new to you, Luca, maybe. But this reload does not work in a dimension as it's working on Atom. So from my point of view. So the only thing which is great on Eclipse at the moment, so which is great at Eclipse for developing in Clojure, is the really good Git integration. I like the Eclipse Git integration, and I would prefer Eclipse as a Git client over all other Git integration tools, because on Eclipse I can view the history of some repositories, and I can choose another one. Maybe one we have some branches created. I think just give the IDE a try. So I should maybe take the DDA IDE or DDA VM. Yeah. So here you can see we have worked on 2 branches. We have here merged from master branch to the feature branch. And it's possible to compare each of these versions either against the workspace version, see the changes in here, see the changed files in here, and compare 2 versions against. And one other really good feature is that you can modify your commits. So you can revert means that you can change the comment of your commit, or you can, if you select 2 commits, merge these 2 commits into one, and it's a squash function. So that's great to have it visually, to have these branches visually and see what's going on. I think that's the strength of Eclipse. But in terms of Clojure development, I think there are also many disadvantages in here. Okay, so this was my part on Eclipse. Did I tell something new to you?
Not really, except I didn't know that you can squash the comments.
So at the moment, I mainly use Atom. Partially I'm using Emacs, but I can learn something from Jan. And from making more complex Git operations, I will start at the moment Eclipse and use Eclipse as Git frontend. So that's my current way of work. Okay. So if there are no more questions, I would propose that we are switching over to Spreed.
Jan can try it out again. Maybe his quality is better now.
Yeah, I can try it if you want.
Okay, it doesn't sound like it.
It's not.
No.
Okay, that's not too bad.
Okay. So let's take a fast step to Spreed. I will close the transmission here.